Good morning. This is Chuck Redmond, and I'm here with Matt Fraser and Chris Sanchez. And we're hoping to talk to you about our Healthy Urban Environment project, and in particular about our seeking to award a series of pilot projects, which are a major component of the HUE program. And we often refer to Healthy Urban Environments by its acronym HUE affectionately. The HUE is an investment of about $1 million a year from the Maricopa County Industrial Development Authority. Our objective is to develop, demonstrate, and deploy innovative community-based approaches to mitigate urban heat and air quality. You'll notice that I'm repeating the PowerPoint. If you're signed online, you can see it as well yourself. There are a number of people on by phone who won't see this, but it also make sure that I don't stray from the script too far. The focus this year in our pilot projects is on collaborative, community-driven solutions. And so we're really seeking partnerships, and that's what today is about, partnerships from municipal groups, nonprofits, local businesses, private developers, schools, and community groups, and other categories we haven't thought of. The idea is to take advantage of the expertise that exists at ASU, where probably well over 50 scientists are involved with heat and air quality work. And we hope can be of service to making Phoenix and the Phoenix region put it in a leadership position in terms of research and implementation and solving the problems of excessive heat and poor air quality. In the first year of the project, 2019, we focused on leveraging existing partnerships and efforts within ASU. And this was largely because we wanted to get the project started before the summer months, and the program itself didn't start till April. So we worked sort of on a very short timeline. This year we have the full year to work on, and so we are starting much earlier, with our intention being the projects we award this late winter, early spring will take place over the next year, starting in the early summer months. So they don't have to be tied to summer, particularly air quality projects. In this coming year, the priority will be given to proposals that originate primarily or feature project leadership from non-ASU organizations. That is, we want to make sure that we're reaching things that the community wants to see done, and to help them move themselves into the leadership area. And we want these things to be, to the extent they can, practical, real-world issues and implications which can be implemented ideally within the project's one-year duration, or at least got underway so that we know that it's on the way, or you develop the evaluatory tools that make it worthwhile. To make something like this happen, we know that we can't start totally from scratch. So we really are aiming to leverage or amplify emerging or existing efforts that would benefit from our additional financial and expertise and logistical support from our project. Matt, do you want to take over?
Sure. Thank you, Chuck. This is Matt Fraser, and I get to go through the guidelines. We've put together these guidelines to help elucidate the types of projects that we are seeking from them. We do want to be collaborative. If there is something that is potentially of interest, we would like to hear from you, but this is our vision. And so let me just go through these.
Let me interrupt you, Matt. I didn't really say it in the introduction. Chris said that there'd be a recording on our website. This PowerPoint will also be on our website in a matter of minutes after we're done. So you don't have to try to take all the notes, because we're talking a little fast for you to take notes from.
Thanks, Chuck.
Sure.
So first, we have envisioned 3 project themes, and these themes are areas of investment that we want to make for projects to look at how to mitigate urban heat and improve urban air quality. And it doesn't have to be heat or air quality. It could be heat and air quality. But specifically, we're looking at what we might call workforce development, or we might call training and evaluation. This is working with the public, working with the workforce, working on management capacity, management education to build capacity. The outcomes of these types of projects could be workshops, they could be a series of tools, they could be a series of evaluations of equity, they could be a series of community engagement programs or curricula. The next theme we have is demonstration. And these would be on-site field or pilot demonstrations where the applicant designs, deploys, and evaluates the impact of some project on mitigating urban heat and air quality. A good example of this might be working on designing and implementing and then testing the effectiveness of a new design for transit stops. And then finally, the third project theme that we have is technology and research. And so this would be either basic or applied research and development of a novel approach and the development or possible development of intellectual property which could be used to improve urban heat and air quality. And we're doing some of these types of projects like looking at dust mitigation or looking at ozone control through coating solar panels to remove nitrogen oxides from the atmosphere. The next important guideline is our project team. We envision project teams to have a prominent feature from a non-university-based organization. Again, this could be a municipality, it could be a nonprofit, it could be a community group, it could be a private business, it could be a real estate developer. But we want to partner that non-university group with some ASU researcher or research team. And the idea here would be that the research team would be able to evaluate the effectiveness of whatever theme the lead organization works on. Some other things that we would like to see, of course, interdisciplinarity. We view the strength of solutions being in bringing a diverse stake of expertise together. And we do want these teams to specifically identify one project theme, as mentioned on the last slide, and make it clear how that would come about. Now, when we think about this, we are thinking about developing a matrix. Our idea about having a matrix is that we want to have a range of different projects. Some of them are focusing on development, some of them are working on implementation, some of them are working on evaluation, some of them are led by municipalities, some of them are led by private businesses, some of them are led by nonprofits, some of them might be led by schools. But the idea is that we want to have a full range of ideas for funding in this next year of projects. The funds that we have from Maricopa County Industrial Development Authority are not intended to underwrite capital improvement projects. So while we might be interested in evaluating the effectiveness of some new project which is being deployed, we do not want to use the Maricopa County Industrial Development Authority funds to pay for that deployment. And that's not our intent. Our intent is to evaluate ongoing projects. We are interested in equity, and so we are interested in addressing vulnerable communities, and by identifying vulnerable communities that are most likely affected by urban heat or poor air quality, that would be very desirable for us. And so we give you some examples down there on what we view as acceptable and unacceptable applications. Finally, one more thing. We want there to have some substantial either lab or field-based empirical components for this evaluation. We are not really intending this to be used to support modeling efforts. Now, it's not exclusive. If there is a well-reasoned argument for why modeling is crucial for a project to go forward, I'm sure we'd be willing to consider it. On the next couple slides, we just have examples. Now, first of all, these are examples. We don't want a whole series of these exact applications, but we want to give you a sense of what we want and what we envision a successful application to be. And I also want to point out that we understand that there has been a lot of work in a lot of these areas. For example, transit stops. We know a lot of organizations have taken a great deal of expertise, time, and effort to evaluate transit stops. But we might be interested in evaluating what the impact of transit stop design is when you consider linking it to what we'll call the walk shed, which is the last distance to that transit stop, and how do people experience urban heat in there. And so we would be interested in evaluating thermal comfort and evaluating outcomes of improving transit stop design on mass transit ridership. Another thing that is of interest is asphalt parking infrastructure. It is an important part of the urban infrastructure here in Phoenix, and so recognizing that, we would be interested in analyzing how innovative design techniques, materials, elements can improve the performance of parking lots with regard to thermal comfort or user experience, and evaluate the outcomes for ongoing projects that are already being done. And finally, we are also interested in ideas like citizen science. How do you engage citizens and communities to use this new suite of low-cost sensors which are coming out so that members of the community can monitor and evaluate their own air quality. And this might be linked to an educational program where you develop curriculum which can be used to improve literacy in the community and awareness, so that people have the ability to impact their own community. Let me pass it back here to Chuck, who will go over the timeline, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yes, I hope all this is making good sense and follows in things that we've already been talking about with you individually. Our plan right now is to use the next couple months to allow you all to help develop ideas and to find partnerships. We'd be happy to provide advice if you want to ask us specific questions about your ideas or about potential partners at ASU or things like that. But the goal would be that by the middle of February, February 14th to be exact, that you would actually have put together a proposal. On our website, we give you the specifics, but we're not talking about length. This is like up to 2 pages. A proposal that would include what groups are working together, what you're after, what your approach would be, what you hope your outcomes could be in the short term and medium term. We will try to respond to those quickly and to be in such a way that funding could start as early as the beginning of April, and certainly before the real summer months begin. We will work with each of your group on the best way to award these things so that we don't get lost in red tape, and the expense of using the award is greater than the award itself. But we believe that we can either do it directly through ASU or through a partner organization that a subaward could be made to. As we said, we hope these programs will produce results and implications within that 12-month period. Sometimes we know that the actual results may take longer, but we're not in, our intention isn't to support long-term projects, but to support projects and get them going that have sort of legs of their own once they take off. Future questions about what we're doing or what we haven't made clear yet. We can entertain some now, and we certainly would be happy to take them by email or phone contact.
And for those of you joining us, please feel free to unmute yourself to ask a question, or you're also welcome to type in a question to the chat box as well.
Okay, we just have a question coming in. Is there information on number of awards and estimated amount of awards? We are targeting projects at a level of $50,000 over a one-year period. We right now have funding for on the order of 6 projects, but we can evaluate what the projects that come in and possibly through saving money in other areas of our program, possibly fund 1 or 2 additional ones from there. Any other questions? Feel free to unmute yourself, introduce yourself.
Hi, Chuck and Matt. This is Sam Markoff.
Hi, Sam.
I was wondering is there any type of list or clearinghouse, I guess, so like if there are community organizations or partners that you guys have already been working with that they've kind of already started listing some projects that they are thinking about or have started but are looking for kind of help or additional collaboration on?
That's a good question. So just let me repeat the question in case it didn't come through on the audio. The question is there any clearinghouse of organizations that we're currently working with or have started discussing possible projects so that people can get involved in those types of projects? Let me think here how we should answer that.
I think the best way will be to actually make direct contact, probably first with Chris Sanchez. We would be happy to share the list of organizations that attended our last sort of information session with the community. I don't think I want to release lists of people and their individual email addresses, but I think organizations are fine. And I think by directly working with us, our hope is after today that a number of organizations will approach us and such a list will begin to emerge more than it exists already.
Great, thanks, Chuck, for that. And so we have a couple other things that are coming in on the text. First, is there additional details of the proposal application process or a proposal template? I will refer you to the website. We have pulled up the last slide here. Our website is HUE.asu.edu. We have a RFP, request for proposals, listed on there with more of the details. So do refer to that. If you did not get it, feel free to reach out to Chris Sanchez. We did email it out about a week ago to those on our lists. The next question, is it limited to projects within Maricopa County? And I would say yes, it is restricted to projects within Maricopa County.
I mean, I think our intent is that the best science in the world should be applied to Maricopa County. And so if your project is taking something that's being experimented with in Louisville or in Abu Dhabi, but can find an empirical way to test its appropriateness for Maricopa County, we'd be interested. But ultimately, from the outcomes end, we do want to be helping the local region.
Okay, the next question, aside from capital costs, what other funding restrictions apply?
I don't think any that stand out. We would be restricted, as in any project, to appropriate things and, you know, conflicts of interest and political donations and things that a university can't spend its money on, or a public agency. But I don't think we're picking out anything in particular.
Yeah, and I would just, I apologize to say maybe we'll have to look into this. I think there might be restrictions which are imposed on us from our funding source, which is the Maricopa County IDA, and I imagine we'd have to pass through those same restrictions. So maybe I'll ask Chris to look into that. And what we'll do is maybe we will start on our website just a list of frequently asked questions, and that'll be a good one for us to post a more detailed reply to that. We have started the process of figuring out how to fund partner organizations, and we don't have all of the full understanding of that, but we will put something up relatively soon on that. Thank you very much, Aubrey, for that suggestion.
I think we're done.
Okay, I think that's it. Unless anybody has any other questions, feel free to, again, reach out to us. Specifically, reach out to Chris. Chris will either have the answer or he'll know where to find it. Right, Chris?
Yep, you got it. And again, we'll send a follow-up email to our network list.
And you can ask to be added to our network.
Yes, yeah. So if you're not on our email list, please get in contact with myself, Chris Sanchez, and I'm happy to add you to that. But also, we'll send a follow-up email just summarizing the workshop and providing all the relevant links and details that have been brought up during this discussion. So thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time on this Monday morning to hear more about our proposals and our process. And please feel free to get in contact with us if you have any other questions or want to discuss any potential ideas. So thank you all. We're going to go ahead and end the meeting.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you for joining.